skilled, fast, unpredictable. That's not Messi. That's Neymar. And that's Lamine Yamal.
I don't think I've seen anything like it since Messi.
He's the chosen one.
Yeah.
He's the chosen one after Messi.
The best player in the world right now is Lamine Yamal.
I think he's the best player in the world, to be honest.
The 17-year-old, I think, is doing things that no other 17-year-old's ever done in football. I think at the moment, I don't know if there's anyone more exciting to go to a stadium and watch right now.
La Masia, the farmhouse turned dream factory. For over 4 decades, it's been football's most successful academy, producing talents that reshaped how the game is played. Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol, Busquets, and of course, the little magician from Rosario who became the greatest player the world has ever seen. But La Masia has a problem. A beautiful, suffocating problem that's crushed more dreams than it's created. Every single time a talented youngster emerges from those walls, the same 3 words echo through Camp Nou. The next Messi. It happened with Boyan Krkic. Remember him? 16 years old, breaking goal-scoring records, destined for greatness. The pressure ate him alive. Then came Adama Traore. Explosive, direct, raw talent that could have lit up Europe. Instead, he became a cautionary tale. Munir El Haddadi, Lee Sung-woo, Abel Ruiz, Takafusa Kubo, Ansu Fati. Now, there's a heartbreaking story. 17 years old, scoring in El Clasico, making Messi himself look mortal. The media crowned him. The fans worshipped him. The next Messi, they chanted. Then his body broke down. Injury after injury. The weight of that comparison crushing him like an avalanche. Because here's what nobody understands. Messi isn't a blueprint. He's an anomaly. A glitch in the matrix. Comparing anyone to him isn't a compliment. It's a curse. It's telling a young player that unless they achieve the impossible, they've failed. Unless they win 8 Ballon d'Ors, score over 800 goals, and redefine physics with a football, they're a disappointment. And yet, when Lamine Yamal burst onto the scene, what did everyone say? You already know. The next Messi. But watch him closely. Really watch him. Forget the comparisons for a moment. Strip away the expectations. Look at how he moves, how he attacks, how he thinks. That's not Messi you're watching. Lamine Yamal, born July 13, 2007, in the working-class neighborhood of Rocafonda in Mataró, just outside Barcelona. Moroccan father, Equatorial Guinean mother, Catalonian upbringing. A tapestry of cultures that shaped a boy who'd represent Spain at the highest level before he could legally drive a car. He joined La Masia at age 7. By 11, coaches were whispering. By 13, they were certain. This kid was different. Not just talented, different. In April 2023, at 15 years and 290 days old, he became the youngest player ever to appear for Barcelona in La Liga. That record had stood since the 1940s. For months later, he became the youngest goal scorer in Barcelona's history, then the youngest to play in El Clasico, then the youngest to assist in a Champions League match. Records fell around him like dominoes. But statistics don't tell you who someone is. They tell you what they've done. And what Lamine Yamal does on a football pitch isn't what Messi did. Watch him receive the ball wide on the right wing. Touchline hugging. Defender approaching. What does he do? He doesn't drift inside to find space. He doesn't look for the simple pass. He runs straight at them. Full speed. One-on-one. Daring them to stop him. His body language screams confidence bordering on arrogance. He feints left. Drops his shoulder. Nutmeg. The defender's on the floor, and Yamal's already looking at the next victim. There's a smile on his face. Not joy. Something else. Mischief. Like he's on a joke the rest of us haven't figured out yet. When he loses the ball, and he does lose it because he attempts things that shouldn't be attempted, he doesn't look frustrated. He shrugs, grins, goes again, harder, more audacious. That's not Messi's calculated genius. That's not efficiency. That's chaos wrapped in silk. That's a player who'd rather fail trying something spectacular than succeed doing something safe. That's not the next Messi. Let's talk tactics. Football at the highest level is chess at 100 kilometers per hour. Positioning matters. Space matters. Understanding your role in the system matters. Lionel Messi, throughout his career, operated primarily as a false nine or a right-sided playmaker who drifted centrally. His game was about gravity. He'd receive the ball, and defenders would collapse towards him like planets around a sun. That created space. His teammates exploited it. When they didn't, he'd thread a pass through gaps that didn't exist a second earlier. Or he'd simply dribble past 4 players and finish. Casually, like he was tying his shoes. Messi controlled games. He dictated tempo, possessed the ball, made defenders commit before destroying them with precision. His dribbling was about efficiency. Minimal touches, maximum effect. And when he did showboat, it was purposeful, functional. Every trick had a tactical reason. Lamine Yamal plays nothing like that. Yamal lives on the touchline. Proper old-school winger territory. He doesn't want to drift central and orchestrate. He wants isolation. Give him a fullback. One-on-one. Watch what happens. His dribbling isn't efficient. It's extravagant. He'll do 5-step overs when 2 would work. He'll attempt a rainbow flick in his own half. He takes risks that make coaches grab their heads. But when they come off, and they often do, defenses shatter. He doesn't control tempo. He accelerates it, forces errors, creates chaos. His assists aren't calculated through balls. Their crosses whipped in with bend that defies geometry. Their flick passes after beating 3 players just because he can. In Spain's Euro 2024 campaign, his role was clear. Stay wide, stretch the pitch, commit defenders, then destroy them. He assisted goals against France and England in the knockout stages. Both came from individual brilliance, taking on his marker, beating them, delivering. Messi at 16 was already showing signs of becoming football's greatest ever. But he was quiet, shy, let his feet do the talking. Yamal does back heels and warm-ups, celebrates assists like he scored, talks back to veterans 3 times his age. They're not the same player, not remotely. So who is Lamine Yamal actually like? 2009, a 17-year-old kid from Mogi das Cruzes tears apart professional defenses in Brazil. Skills that look impossible. Confidence that borders on cockiness. A smile that says he knows exactly how good he is. Then in 2010, he moves to Santos. Becomes their youngest debutant. Within months, he's their talisman. The Campeonato Paulista, the Copa do Brasil, the Copa Libertadores. He wins them all before turning 20, and he does it with style. Flicks, tricks, rainbow flicks in cup finals, nutmegs in big matches, pure, unadulterated flair. His name was Neymar da Silva Santos Jr., and the similarities between him and Lamine Yamal are impossible to ignore. Watch young Neymar at Santos, the way he'd receive the ball wide, drop his shoulder, explode past defenders with pace and trickery. The audacity to try things that made coaches scream. The joy in his face when he'd pull them off. The shrug when he didn't. Now watch Yamal. The positioning, the wing play, the willingness to take on defenders repeatedly, the step-overs, the feints, the absolute refusal to play it safe. When Neymar arrived at Barcelona in 2013, people expected him to compete with Messi. Instead, they complemented each other perfectly. Messi controlled. Neymar exploded. Messi was the brain. Neymar was the electricity. Together with Suarez, they formed the most devastating front 3 in football history. MSN, 122 goals in one season. The treble. Destruction on an industrial scale. But Neymar's greatest gift wasn't goals or assists. It was his ability to unlock defenses through individual brilliance when everything else had failed. Low block defending you? Give the ball to Neymar. Watch him attempt something ridiculous. Watch it work. That's what Yamal does. In tight matches, when Barcelona's possession game stalls, when teams pack the box and dare them to break through. Yamal gets the ball, runs at defenders, makes something happen. Against France in the Euro 2024 semifinal, Spain were struggling. France's low block was suffocating. Then Yamal received the ball, beat his marker, whipped an across. Equalizer, chaos created, match turned. That's Neymar's blueprint, not Messi's. The dribbling style, the risk-taking, The showmanship, the confidence, the flair, even the body language. Lean frame, lightning quick, skills that make defenders look foolish. A smile that says, I'm better than you, and we both know it. Neymar and Yamal even share the same fearlessness. Watch Neymar at 19 getting kicked by hardened defenders. He bounce up, smile, go again. Yamal's the same. Gets fouled, pops up, immediately demanding the ball again. But here's why nobody wants to make this comparison. Neymar's legacy is complicated. The move to PSG, the Champions League failures, the injuries, the drama, the feeling that he never quite fulfilled his potential. Never won that Ballon d'Or. Never became the best in the world, even though he might have been the most talented. Comparing Yamal to Neymar feels like setting lower expectations, like saying he won't reach Messi's heights. But that's the wrong way to look at it, because Neymar, at his peak, was the second best player on the planet, made football look like art, entertained millions, won everything at club level, and gave the world moments of magic that only he could produce. If Lamine Yamal becomes the next Neymar, that's not a consolation prize. That's football royalty. There's a moment in every great dribbler's career where they have to choose. Safety or spectacle, the smart pass or the impossible dribble, efficiency or entertainment. Messi chose efficiency. Every risk he took was calculated. Every dribble had a purpose. His greatness came from making the impossible look inevitable. Neymar chose spectacle, and so, it seems, has Yamal. Watch Yamal at the Euros. Youngest player ever at a European Championship at 16 years and 338 days. He could have played it safe. Short passes, stay wide, don't lose possession. Instead, he attempted more dribbles than almost anyone else in the tournament. Took on defenders in his own half. Tried skills that veterans wouldn't dare. Against Croatia in the group stage, he received the ball deep. 3 defenders between him and danger. Sensible play, pass backwards, recycle possession. Instead, he wanted all 3. Beat 1, beat 2. The third brought him down. Free kick, inefficient, maybe, but it terrified Croatia. For the next 10 minutes, they didn't know whether to press him or back off. Defend tight or give him space. That's what chaos does. It creates doubt. There's a phrase in Brazilian football, ginga. It means swing, sway, rhythm. It's the art of moving with the ball like you're dancing. Like the ball's an extension of your body, and the pitch is your stage. Neymar had it. Ronaldinho had it. Garrincha had it. Yamal has it too. But ginga comes with a price. You get fouled. A lot. Yamal was fouled 23 times at the Euros. Defenders kicked him, pushed him, pulled his shirt, and every single time, he'd get up smiling, sometimes laughing. That's not normal. Most teenagers would get frustrated, angry, scared. Yamal looks like he enjoys it. Like being fouled proves he's winning the personal battle. And maybe that's the most Neymar-like quality of all. That absolute conviction that he's the best player on the pitch. That mentality that says, you can kick me 10 times, I'm still going past you on the 11th. It's that audacity that makes him special. And it's that same audacity that makes him different from Messi. Messi rarely got kicked because defenders couldn't get close enough. He'd already gone. Yamal invites the contact, wants the one-on-one battle, wants defenders to remember him. You can't coach that. You can't teach a 16-year-old to have the mental strength to demand the ball in the 89th minute of a knockout match when the scores are level. But Yamal does it, like it's natural, because for him, it is. Let's talk about what happens when you compare young players to Messi. Let's talk about the wreckage. Bojan Krkic, 17 years old, breaking Messi's youth goal-scoring records at Barcelona. Everyone said it. The next Messi. The pressure built. The expectation grew. He couldn't handle it. Anxiety. Stress. By 21, he was struggling at Roma. By 25, he was at Stoke City. By 30, he'd retired. Was Bojan a failure? He played for Barcelona, represented Spain, had a decent career, but by the standards set for him, by the comparison made, he was a disappointment. Not because he wasn't good enough, because nobody could be good enough. The same pattern repeated. Giovanni dos Santos, the next Messi, ended up journeying across multiple continents, never settling. Christian Teo, the next Messi, became a solid professional. Nothing more. The label crushed potential. Even players who succeeded couldn't escape it. Neymar himself was called the next Messi when he arrived at Barcelona. It created tension, rivalry. Neymar eventually left, partly because he couldn't emerge from Messi's shadow. Now, imagine Lamine Yamal carrying that weight. At 16, 17, 18, every match compared to what Messi was doing at the same age. Every goal compared, every assist, every dribble. Messi had 15 goals by this age. Messi had already won this trophy. Messi never lost the ball that much. It's a losing game. Nobody wins against Messi comparisons. Nobody. But what if we compare Yamal to Neymar instead? Suddenly, the expectations shift. It's not about being perfect. It's about being spectacular. It's not about efficiency. It's about entertainment. It's not about controlling games. It's about breaking them open. Neymar, for all his brilliance, was never burdened with being the greatest ever. He was the Samba star, the showman, the player who made people fall in love with football again because he played it like a street kid in Maggie Das Cruz's who never forgot why he started. That's what Yamal can be. Free from the impossible expectations. Free to be chaotic. Free to fail sometimes because the attempts are worth the failures. Football needs players like that. Players who remind us that the sport isn't just about winning. It's about wonder, magic, moments that make you jump out of your seat because you've just seen something you've never seen before. Messi gave us that for 2 decades. But Messi's gone. Ronaldo's gone. That era ended. Yamal doesn't need to recreate it. He needs to start something new. So what happens next? Where does Lamine Yamal's career go from here? If we're honest, nobody knows. Football's full of next big things who became footnotes. Injury, loss of form, wrong move to the wrong club, bad coaching, loss of confidence. There are a million ways a career can derail. But let's imagine the best-case scenario. Yamal stays healthy, continues developing, finds the right system and the right coach who trusts him. What does he become? He could be Barcelona's talisman for the next 15 years. The player they build attacks around. Not the playmaker, the chaos agent. The winger who drags defenders out of position and creates space for others. A hybrid of Neymar's flair and Messi's intelligence, without being either. He could be Spain's most important player for a generation. Their creative spark. The difference maker in tight matches. The player opponents fear because they know he'll try things they're not prepared for. He could transcend football and become a cultural icon. The face of a new generation. The player young kids imitate in parks and streets. The one whose jersey sells more than anyone else's because he represents something more than just goals and trophies. But here's the thing. None of that requires him to be Messi. In fact, being Messi might prevent it. Because Messi's greatness came from control. Yamal's will come from chaos. The best comparison isn't even a peak Neymar at Barcelona. It's a Neymar at Santos. Before the pressure. Before the expectations. When he was just a kid from Sao Paulo who played football like he was still in the streets. Pure joy, pure expression, pure talent unleashed. That's what Yamal can be, if we let him. If we stop comparing him to the greatest player ever and start appreciating him for who he actually is. A winger, an entertainer, a risk-taker, someone who makes football fun again. The system matters. Barcelona needs to give him freedom, not structure him too heavily. Not demand defensive work that dulls his attacking instinct. Let him stay high, stay wide, hunt defenders. The coaching matters. He needs someone who trusts him to fail, who encourages the audacious attempts, who doesn't substitute him the moment he loses the ball trying a rainbow flick. The culture matters. Barcelona fans need to celebrate the player he is, not mourn the player they think he should be. When he attempts something impossible and it doesn't work, applaud the attempt. That's how you build confidence. Because here's the truth. Lamine Yamal might never win 8 Ballon d'Ors. He might never score 800 goals. He might never be called the greatest of all time. And that's absolutely fine. Because greatness doesn't mean being Messi. Greatness means being the best version of yourself. Fulfilling your potential. Giving everything you have. making people feel something when they watch you play. Neymar did that. At his peak, he was box office. Must-watch television. Every time he touched the ball, something could happen. That's a legacy. That's a career to be proud of. If Yamal achieves even 80% of what Neymar achieved, he'll be one of the best players of his generation. If he wins titles, if he entertains millions, if he makes children fall in love with football because of the way he plays it, that's not settling. That's understanding what greatness actually looks like when it's not shaped like a 5 feet 7 inches Argentine with a left foot that defied physics.